Have you ever wondered how just a few words, whispered quietly to yourself, can completely alter the course of your day or your entire life? This isn't poetic thinking. This isn't wishful optimism. This is the Stoic practice of mindful self-talk, one of the most powerful and most overlooked tools in ancient philosophy. And today we're going deep into how it works, why modern neuroscience confirms it, and how you can start using it right now to shape not just your mindset, but your reality. If you're skeptical about the idea that your inner dialogue can physically change your brain and redirect your life, good, stay skeptical. Because what we're about to cover isn't just philosophy. It's backed by science. And by the time this video is done, some of what you believe about your own mind is going to shift. This is where ancient Stoic wisdom meets modern psychological science. And the intersection of those two worlds is where real, lasting change lives. Let's begin. Every thought you have is a physical event. When your brain generates a thought, any thought neurons fire and communicate through synapses, creating neural pathways. Think of these pathways like roads in your mind. The more you travel a road, the wider and smoother it becomes. The less you travel it, the more it overgrows. Now, here is where Stoicism enters the conversation in a way that should stop you cold. Epictetus, born a slave, a man who owned nothing and controlled nothing except his mind, wrote this: "Men are disturbed not by things but by their opinions about things." 2,000 years before neuroscience had the language to explain it, the Stoics understood that your reality is not shaped by what happens to you. It is shaped by the story your mind builds around what happens to you, and that story, that inner dialogue, is physically carving pathways in your brain every single day. If you consistently tell yourself you are not capable, your brain builds a highway toward that belief. If you consistently challenge that thought and replace it with something grounded and empowering, you are physically rewiring your neural architecture. This is called neuroplasticity, and it is the scientific proof of what the Stoics taught by instinct. You are not stuck with the mind you have. You are building it every single day, with every thought you choose to entertain or reject. The Stoic practice of positive self-talk. Positive self-talk is not about lying to yourself. It is not about forcing a smile when life is hard or pretending that problems don't exist. These Stoics were realists. They looked at the world as it actually was, not as they wished it to be, and from that clear-eyed position they chose deliberately how to speak to themselves about it. Here is the difference. Instead of saying, "I always mess things up," a statement that is both inaccurate and destructive, a Stoic-inspired mind says, "I made a mistake. What can I learn from this?" That is not optimism, that is precision, because the first statement is a lie dressed as honesty, and the second is the actual truth. Every word you speak to yourself reinforces a belief about your identity. Change the script from critical to accurate, and you are not just changing your mood, you're building what psychologists call self-efficacy, the deep, unshakable belief that you are capable of handling what life brings. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, one of the most powerful men in human history, wrote to himself in his private journal every single morning not to record his victories, to correct his thinking, to remind himself of who he was trying to become. That journal became the Meditations, and it is essentially 2,000 years of proof that even the greatest minds in history needed to actively manage their inner dialogue. So do you. So do I. The question is whether you do it deliberately or let it happen by default. Acknowledging reality. Here is where Stoicism separates itself completely from every modern self-help approach. The Stoics did not teach positive thinking, they taught clear thinking. And there is a profound difference between the two. Positive thinking says, ignore the obstacle, focus on the good, visualize success, and it will come. Stoicism says, look at the obstacle directly, understand it completely, and then ask, what does this require of me? Marcus Aurelius wrote, the obstacle is the way, not around it, not past it, through it, because every obstacle contains within it the exact conditions needed to develop the virtue you currently lack. The Stoics practiced something called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of difficulties. They would deliberately visualize what could go wrong, not to be pessimistic, but to remove the shock of it. Because a mind that has already faced something mentally is never rattled by it in reality. This is acknowledging reality in its most powerful form, Not denial, not catastrophizing, just clear, honest, unflinching engagement with what is true and a deliberate choice about how to respond to it. When you combine this with your inner dialogue, when you speak to yourself not with false comfort, but with honest empowerment, you build a mind that cannot be rattled. Not because life stops being hard, because you stop being surprised by hardness. Consistency and habit formation. The Stoics used an analogy that has stayed with me since the first time I encountered it. A river does not carve through rock in a single day. It carves through rock by showing up the same path, the same pressure, day after day after day, until what was once immovable simply gives way. Your mind works the same way. One positive thought does not rewire your brain. One morning of deliberate self-talk does not rebuild years of negative conditioning, but consistent practice, the same intentional inner dialogue, day after day, gradually, and then suddenly changes everything. The Stoics call this ascesis, disciplined practice, not harsh self-denial, but the steady daily commitment to becoming the person you have decided to be. They use the analogy of an athlete. In training, an athlete does not go to the gym once and expect to be strong. They go every day, especially when they don't feel like it, especially when progress feels invisible, because they understand that consistency is the only path to transformation. In practical terms, this means building small daily anchors. Start each morning by asking, who am I choosing to be today? End each evening by asking, did my words and actions today reflect that person? Not as self-punishment, as self-awareness. The Stoics journaled for exactly this reason, not to record the past, but to hold themselves accountable to the future they were building, one day, one thought, one word at a time. Empowering questions and future self-talk. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. Most people ask disempowering questions without realizing it. Why does this always happen to me? Why can't I get this right? What's wrong with me? These are not honest questions, they are traps, and the brain, faithful and literal, goes looking for answers that confirm them. Stoicism teaches a different kind of questioning. Questions that open rather than close. Questions that hand you back your agency rather than strip it away. What can I learn from this? What virtue does this moment require of me? Is this within my control, and if not, what is? These are not motivational slogans. They are navigational tools. Each one redirects your mind from victimhood to agency, from reaction to intention, from the noise of what happened to the only question that ever truly matters: what will I do now? And then there is future self-talk. This is the practice of speaking to yourself as the person you are becoming, not the person you currently are, not as fantasy, as intention made verbal. The Stoics practiced this through what they called acting as if, embodying the virtues they were still developing by speaking and acting as though those virtues were already theirs. Courage was practiced before it was felt. Wisdom was spoken before it was earned. Tell yourself, I am someone who responds with calm under pressure, not because it is fully true yet, but because the mind that hears it consistently begins to make it true. You are not lying to yourself, you are giving your brain a destination. The words you speak to yourself are not just reflections of who you are, they are instructions for who you are becoming. Every thought you choose, every question you ask, every word you direct inward is either building the person you want to be or dismantling them. There is no neutral ground. The Stoics understood this with absolute clarity. And now, so do you. Choose your words, choose them carefully, choose them every single day. Stay stoic.